Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Multiple teams willing to offer East All-Star max contract. Despite Jimmy Butler's desire to reach a contract extension with the Miami Heat, his future of the franchise may be in limbo. Indeed, several teams are monitoring his situation with the Heat ahead of offseason, namely the Philadelphia 76ers. Multiple teams willing to offer Jimmy Butler max contract. Along with the 76ers, per the Miami Herald's Anthony Chang, there are two other teams that have made it known in league circles that they would be willing to trade for Butler and sign him to a max-level contract. Though those suitors aren't known, the Detroit Pistons are projected to have the most cap space, $64.4 million, this offseason. The Utah Jazz, $38.3 million, who have a hole at small forward, could clear up enough money for Butler. However, the New York Knicks, Chicago Bulls, and Minnesota Timberwolves, three of his former teams, are distinct possibilities as well. Among those options, the Bulls and Timberwolves may be the most sensible landing spots. Chicago Bulls. In a potential sign-and trade, Bulls wing DeMar DeRozan is one of the best players they can target. An all-time great scorer, DeRozan's offensive strengths are quite similar to Butler's. Effective mid-range scorers and playmakers, they can be featured as the top option or play a complementary role. This symmetry should allow both players to have a smooth transition on offense. However, there's a trade-off for both teams. The Bulls would be acquiring a defensive stalwart. For a team that's largely struggled at that end for years, Butler's arrival will be transformative. Furthermore, as a defensive stopper, he's a better complement for Zach LaVine on the wing than DeRozan. There will be questions about Butler's ability to stay healthy though, as he's played in 65 or fewer games in every season since 2017-18. For comparison, DeRozan hasn't missed more than 15 games in a season since 2014-15. With that being said, the six-time All-Star could be the type of player Heat president Pat Riley is looking for. Indeed, Riley's reluctance to offer the Butler a max contract extension is centered on his lack of durability. As the saying goes, the best ability is availability. Minnesota Timberwolves. The Sixers might not be the only team kicking themselves for letting Butler get away. Whether his problems were with Andrew Wiggins or Karl Anthony Towns, Butler's been more impactful than both since being traded by the Minnesota Timberwolves. In fact, Minnesota traded Wiggins the season after they shipped Butler off. Towns remains with the Wolves, but has been replaced by Anthony Edwards as the face of the franchise. That isn't to say Towns has played poorly. Indeed, he's averaged 23.9 points, 10.2 rebounds, 3.8 assists, and 1.1 blocks per game since 2018-19, shooting a blistering 41% from three. He's a flawed player, particularly defensively, but his 4 All-Star selections aren't a fluke. Nonetheless, with the rise of Naz Reid and the team's need for another elite perimeter defender, Butler's skills are more in line with Minnesota's needs. The big man has played in 50 or fewer games in 3 of the past 5 seasons, so injuries and illness may make Towns a hard sell for Miami. However, as played all 82 games in his first 3 seasons, and at least 74-5, he's arguably more hardy than Butler. He also fits a position of need. The Heat have yet to settle on a full-time starter at power forward. Blockbuster trade proposal sends Heat star Jimmy Butler to Lakers. One NBA writer proposed that the Los Angeles Lakers acquired Jimmy Butler from the Miami Heat this offseason. Zach Buckley of Bleacher Report proposed the following trade idea between the Lakers and Heat. The trade: the Los Angeles Lakers trade Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, Jared Vanderbilt, Jalen Hood-Schifino, a 2029 first-round pick and a 2031 first-round pick to the Miami Heat for Jimmy Butler and Thomas Bryant. Butler averaged 20.8 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 5.0 assists in 60 games for the Heat this season, shooting 49.9% from the field, 41.4% from beyond the arc and 85.8% from the free throw line. He'll make $48.8 million next season. Butler is extension eligible this offseason. The forward could request a trade if the Heat don't sign him to a max extension. The Lakers' third-star search could take them a number of different directions, but what about towards South Beach and their biggest adversary in the 2020 finals? Sure, the Heat say Butler isn't available, and most analysts don't think he is, but if extension negotiations get awkward, as they already kind of did, things could change in a hurry, Buckley wrote. LA should have an all-in offer at the ready, just in case. Butler wouldn't help with the Lakers' shooting shortage, but he'd enhance their offensive menu as a scorer, creator, and downhill attacker. His toughness and defensive versatility would be welcome additions to this team, and his experience should allow for a smooth transition to the locker room. This trade price is steep, but this could be a transformational swap, so it should be. If LA wants more than an honorable mention in championship talks, it might require a bold blockbuster like this to make it happen. To get this deal done, the Lakers would have to duck below the first apron, which could happen by either D'Angelo Russell declining his $18.7 million player option and exiting, or LeBron James returning at something less than his max salary. Butler has a player option worth $52.4 million for the 2025-26 season. He turns 35 in September. A Marquette product, Butler has career averages of 18.3 points, 5.3 rebounds, 4.3 assists, 1.6 steals, and 0.4 blocks with the Chicago Bulls, Minnesota Timberwolves, Philadelphia Sixers, and Heat. He's made 6 All-Star teams, 5 All-NBA teams, and 5 All-Defensive teams. The Lakers are expected to hire J.J. Redick as their new head coach. Redick and Butler were teammates on the Sixers in 2018-19. Los Angeles would have a big three of LeBron, Butler, and Anthony Davis if the Lakers front office figured out a way to acquire Butler from the Heat. LeBron can become an unrestricted free agent this offseason by declining his 2024-25 player option. The NBA legend is expected to remain with the Lakers. 2 mystery teams are reportedly willing to trade for Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler drew some criticism when he left the Philadelphia 76ers to sign with the Miami Heat. Sixers fans claimed that he would never get close to the NBA Finals after making that decision, and it didn't take long before he proved them wrong. However, Butler has no rings to show for after 2 trips to the ultimate stage with Erik Spoelstra, and for the first time since he arrived in South Beach, there have been some rumblings about his future. Butler is reportedly seeking a max contract extension with the Heat. Pat Riley criticized him for his demeanor and antics during the series versus the Boston Celtics, and while that's just the way the Heat deals with their players, some think that could have opened up the door for his departure. With that in mind, Heat beat writer Anthony Chang reported that the Philadelphia 76ers and 2 unnamed teams would be more than willing to trade for Butler and sign him to the max contract extension he's currently looking for, via NBA Central. Needless to say, it would be quite ironic to see the Sixers giving him that kind of contract at 34 years old when they didn't want to do it at 29 years old. Butler has struggled with injuries over the past couple of years, and he's not getting any younger. However, he's still one of the best two-way players in the game and a natural leader, so it's not much of a surprise to see that multiple teams are willing to roll the dice on him. And are you a fan? What do you think of Jimmy Butler's exit? Leave your opinion in the comments.